Welcome once again, racing fans. Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. Good to be back with you guys, fellas.
You missed a week.
I missed a week.
You never miss a week.
I
Phil's
can't say,
you're
never
over
say
here now.
never.
I know. Well, it
But,
doesn't happen often.
Yeah. Well, we had an eventful weekend last weekend, which we'll recap and preview what's to come at Emerald Downs. That's what we do on Emerald Downs Weekly. And it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday of racing. Gary, standard fare this weekend?
Yep, 2 more weekends ago. We got Friday night. We got a band coming out, the Mighty Dreadful String Band, out here performing between the races on Friday night.
Had some good bands this year.
Yeah, it's been
That's
a lot of
bluegrass, I believe.
Yeah, bluegrass.
music.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
I
should
looked
be
them
good.
up.
And Saturday race at 5 o'clock, and we'll have some reggae music upstairs after the races on Saturday night.
Dancing at the Downs.
Yep, continues, and that'll continue all through the winter time. 8:30 we'll start the music, and then on Sunday we have another walk-up day and a final one, and Washington Racing Hall of Fame announcements.
Fantastic. Yeah, Washington Hall of Fame, the inductees out front and center in front of the crowd and to be recognized. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And, of course, Friday night we also have the horseshoe toss. And Saturday we've got some nice concession specials, the final 2 Saturdays of the meeting.
Yeah, half price on a bunch of stuff on our September Saturdays. Most people are really concerned about those half price beers. Let's face it, that's the most popular item on there, 16-ounce draft beer. Half price, also hot dogs, corn dogs, and popcorn, and a few other items, fountain drinks as well. Half price, good deal. Come on out on Saturday night.
Speaking of beer, our final Brewers night will be this coming Friday night.
That's right. Reuben's Brews, right?
Yes, Reuben's
Brews are the featured brewer. And that's always fun because it's $2.50 craft beer from 6 to 6:45, and then I think they still do it. They spin the wheel after every race to determine the price of the beer until the next race. So that's always kind of fun.
Yes.
Beer garden right out by the winner's circle, by the music, where it's all happening.
Special hot dogs and brats.
Nice, nice. Okay, Brewers night, first race 6:30 on Friday, again 5 p.m. on Saturday and 2 p.m. on Sunday. 2 weekends to go at Emerald Downs. We are winding down the 2019 season. And we ended a little bit early last Friday night, fellas. Phil Ziegler, our track president, give us an explanation on that.
Well, it's a portion of... You remember what happened in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's happened in the Super Bowl.
That's
You're right.
Well, or anybody that went to see the Husky game on Saturday night, it's for a different reason. But we had our problems on Friday night. A bank of lights went out around the 3/8 pole to about the half-mile pole, that section out there. And it was dark and not safe, so we had to run just 4 of the 7 races on Friday night. And the other 3 races have been rescheduled back over this weekend. But the lights were out and made for an interesting 4th race. We got done, and the lights were fixed by the next day.
Yeah. Didn't look to be too unsafe out there because of the
it was still daylight
all around the track.
But we couldn't run another race because then it would have been unsafe.
Well, let's go to last Friday night at Emerald Downs, a Fab Friday. Let's hit that second race, and trainer Bob Meeking, 91-year-old Meeking, has something to look forward to next year. This first-time starter, Philly, okay so far. She's going to come from off the pace and beat Brett there. And she's going to win her career debut. She's by Super Saver, Kentucky Derby winner. So a promising first-time starter winner. Another time the Phillies have beaten the boys in 2-year-old races.
New York State bred, too.
Yeah, New York bred.
Is that right?
Yes. He says he got that horse, I guess it was reserved not met at a Keeneland sale, and then he made the purchase and brought her here.
Yeah, she looked good. She came from well out of it. On to race number 3 at Emerald Downs, Friday night. And it's still plenty of daylight there. Of course, the lights were working in the home stretch. This is Rosso's Gatto, and there were 3 pretty much co-favorites in this race. She was best for the 5th time at the meeting. She's 5 for 10. She ties a couple other horses for most wins at the meeting, Das Bear and General Mach 4. So claimer of the meeting, as usual, going to head down to the closing day, I'm sure.
Yep.
Because there's plenty of horses with 4 wins as well. But Rosso's Gatto has had a heck of a run. And the fourth and final, we're going to start this one a little bit earlier, show that 3/8 pole area. So a little bit darker light flowing in from various angles from other light banks, but that's the fourth and final, as you can see.
Tom Harris says, as the horses enter the dark side of the moon, but I did talk to a couple of the jockeys after that said the lighting for them wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It looked worse on TV.
That's Judicial pulling away for her second consecutive win.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Crockett owned, and along with Griffin Place of Terry and Mary Lou Griffin, who are going to be front and center for the Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. Trainer Tom Wenzel. Judicial. That was it for Friday night.
That was it.
So some fans are up in arms because we didn't have the horseshoe toss. Bill, we wanted to try. We give away that $1,000, and people says, "That's still pound the stake in and throw the horseshoe."
I've been checking my inbox for complaints about that, Gary.
How many did you get?
One from you. That's it.
Well, Wes Petrie, our director of television services, thinks we should throw the horseshoe after every race.
Really, you want to do that? No.
That was Wes's idea.
That was Wes's idea.
Can we leave the peg and the
just think how strong you'd be by the first half of the meet.
You're the one that's going to have to go running back and forth.
I got the easy part. I just say a few names. Gary's got to pound that thing in.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Once a week's fine.
Sumo wrestler by the halfway through the year. Anyway, okay.
That stake is always crooked, though.
We jest a little bit, but it is 1,000 if you can throw a ringer, and we're on a little bit of a drought here at Emerald Downs.
A little bit.
Sign up.
Yeah,
like a 3-season drought. Okay.
Gary did it, which is makes
well, he didn't get the 1,000.
No,
but that $1,000 is still.
But it's possible. We know somebody could do it. We've had two.
It's happened in the past, but not since we resurrected it. Okay, the horseshoe toss, part of the fun on Friday nights at Emerald Downs, and. Hey, we're going to take a short break and come back and recap the rest of the weekend. Look forward to much more here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
How did you do that, Gary? Nobody else has done it. You and Porter. I know.
Dumb luck. No pressure, I guess.
Emerald Downs Weekly here on NBC Sports Northwest. We're coming up on our final 2 weekends at Emerald Downs, and what do we got coming up on the show here, fellas? We've got a little Washington Cup preview, Hall of Fame preview, stat versus stat, and just a little general talk on last week and this week. Does that sound right?
And a whole lot of Frank Lucarelli.
Well timed for that comment. Let's go to Saturday's first race this past weekend at Emerald Downs, and coming down the stretch, there's a little bit of a battle going on, but Patricia Kay, a daughter of Painter, is going to win this race for, as Phil just mentioned, Frank Lucarelli. That was a class dropper in the race, and Ryan Barber aboard for Randall and Rossi and the rest of those. So right away, and by the way, Frank Lucarelli was at this point had 62 wins for the season, and the record is 66.
Right.
So in quick succession, Frank Lucarelli continued to do good on Saturday. There's Flat Out Fine winning a non-winners of 2 by a wide margin. And next it was Crest Drive, another blowout win for him. And Old School Ike, a huge win. Those were all Frank Lucarelli trained horses. He won the first 4 races on Saturday.
Yeah.
And, we have various records that we go to. Gary's got his records, Vince, myself. I don't ever remember a trainer. Well, Tim McCann, I believe, won 4 in a row the day he won 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's always something about the first 4 or 5 in a row. I mean, that's what makes it really special.
Yeah. So Frank Lucarelli won the first 4 races. He already tied the single meet record of 66, held jointly by Tim McCann and Jeff Metz. And he had some strong possibilities left on Saturday's card.
Yeah, he had horses in all the remaining races, including some with 2.
Okay.
And, so we knew we'd probably get 5.
But, 5 in a row for a trainer.
And the 5th race, he didn't have the favorite.
No.
So
let's take a look at race 5 on Saturday.
And Scout Patrol from the outside, embattled with Gentle Prince at the inside. These two square off in deep stretch. Scout Patrol and Gentle Prince. Gentle Prince coming on at the inside. Scout Patrol on the outside. Gentle Prince does the job.
Get it over with quick. Gentle Prince comes back on again along the inside to beat Scout Patrol. Frank Lucarelli trainee, Gentle Prince, gets the victory. The first 5 races on the card go to Frank Lucarelli. Randall and Rossi, again, the owners. Javier Matias aboard. There's the trainers that have won 5 races in one day in Washington history. Bill Cummings did it first in the 60s. Jim Penny did it at both Long Acres and Emerald Downs. Looks like Jim Field's the only one at Yakima. And it's been done several times now here at Emerald Downs. Tim McCann, Doris Harwood, Jeff Metz, and Frank Lucarelli. And he won his all in succession. And I think you're going to have to look long and far to find a trainer winning 5 consecutive races on a card.
And the reason why we're not showing him accepting the big sign for breaking the record is because he wasn't here.
Up at Hastings.
He was at Hastings for a big stakes race there. But was monitoring. I talked to him the next day, and he was watching, and his phone was blowing up with text messages and phone calls after that.
One of his assistants in the winner's circles said that, Frank can stay in Canada. We're winning all these races. We don't need him here.
Right. They said that.
They did a good job, of course, all year long. Frank Lucarelli, that was his 67th win as well, setting a new single meet record at Emerald Downs. It's going to be his 6th training title here at the track. Of course, he passed his milestone 1,000th win at Emerald Downs a few weeks ago, and he's the all-time leading money-winning trainer.
And 67 is a magic number because we have 67 days of racing.
Right.
So he is now, with that win, he clinched an average of 1 win per race day. And I don't know too many places.
Nobody in the state of Washington
has
done that.
No.
Yeah. That's amazing.
There's going to be, when you have the year-end award for greatest training achievement, Lucarelli's going to have like 3 of them, and it's going to be hard to choose. Right?
Yeah, you are correct, sir. That was quite a season for Frank Lucarelli, and he wasn't done for the weekend quite yet. Let's go to race number 6 on Saturday. Yeah, Frank Lucarelli had a horse in there, but not this time. Actually, Brahms Forest was the favorite, and he's going to finish 5th. But the winner was, Smoothie Lee, 4th win at the meeting, and it was his first route race. That was quite a run by Smoothie Lee. Beat At a Peak, a long shot, and Gary Wales aboard for Vince Gibson. There's one of your contenders for claimer of the meeting, Smoothie Lee, 4 wins and versatility. Yeah, quite a win. All right, and let's look at race number 7 as well. In fact,
center of the race course, Emily's Gold, deep stretch they come. This Great Nation at the inside, just in front. No Harbor in sight, pressing from the outside. And Melchior, 40 yards to the line. This Great Nation wins it 3 parts of a length.
This Great Nation, and that has turned out to be a pretty good horse. That's Eddie Martinez up for trainer George Rosales. If you remember, he won a stake here last year as a 2-year-old and beat Jack Van Berg, who went on to win at Churchill Downs on Breeders' Cup weekend, and has a pretty good bankroll. But this Great Nation had a layoff. He won his previous start, so Art McFadden has a good sprinter there.
And if you saw the skies in the background of the winner's circle shot, you saw the dark skies because we had one more race to run on Saturday. We got the 8th race in. And then the skies opened up.
So that's a question right there. The lights went out. They failed on Friday night, and we made the decision to move post time back on Saturday from 5 p.m. until to
4:25.
Now, who did that?
Well,
why not 4:30?
Well, we looked at sundown, and I remember telling Eric Berry in our mutual office, you better make it 4:25 because I have a feeling we're going to need those extra 5 minutes. Not for this reason, for the weather, but we thought the lights wouldn't be working. Well, Eric Crowfoot and his crew fixed the lights for Saturday, so we just started early, and it was a normal night until the rain started to come, and we got that 8th race in. Had we not moved up post time, then much like what happened at the Husky game, there was no way we were going to have those last couple of races in the middle of that storm.
Nice move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes
Phil Ziegler, Jack Hodge, that was a great move there to go that 5 minutes. It could have been, some of you might remember June 20th, 2016. We had a glorious night for the track's 20th anniversary. Some great celebrations. And then after must have been the 7th race, one race to go, it just poured, got really dark.
Yeah.
Darker than night usually gets, and we didn't run the 8th race but the 4:25, that extra 5 minutes helped to get in the card on Saturday. Okay, I think we will go to Sunday racing right now. Let's go to race number 3 here at Emerald Downs. And it rained Saturday night. I think the news is out on that.
There's the results right there.
And here comes Patty's Secret in the middle of the track. Look at her change leads late. She doesn't change leads very often. Stakes placed a couple of times this year. That was her first win at Emerald Downs this year. And there's Frank Lucarelli.
Yeah,
back.
Win number 68 at the meeting.
Dennis Snowden.
Yeah, been a really good mare. Patty's Secret, stakes placed here as a 2-year-old, and she takes the 3rd race on Sunday.
Did you ever give him his sign? The sign?
Well, it was. By the time I saw him there, it was outdated.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's move on to race number 5. This is a 2-year-old race, and we had some firsters in this race. 2-year-old Colton Geldings. And Alex Anaya is aboard Race Home for Manny Ortiz. So that's Race Home winning by race day. And Manny has a couple of nice first-time starter winners at the meeting. He also debuted
This
at
one owned
Philly.
by Tim Bankers.
My foal, yeah.
Good
You
to see
bet.
Tim in
Tim
the winner's
Bankers
circle.
has been a great supporter.
Absolutely.
That was a Kentucky bred. Alex Anaya aboard, that first-time starter. And we'll go ahead and move on to race number 6. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's go to race number 9, one of Phil Ziegler's favorite horses. And how about this performance by Owner's Prestige, Phil?
8
First
to
start
1.
since last August.
I know. This horse had 4 lifetime starts, 2 here last year, and 2 previous to that at Sha Tin in Hong Kong. Australian-bred horse, great breeding. Blaine Wright trains, and
Likes the mud.
likes to be on the lead too. So that horse is going to be back in the Pete Peterson Overnight Stakes on closing day. That's what they said.
You think he'll get 8 to 1 that day,
No,
Phil?
no.
8 to 1 in a 6-horse
Phil's
field.
buying dinner.
Yeah. I
Juan
like that one.
Gutierrez aboard for Blaine Wright and owner Wing Ho. Owner's Prestige, beautiful horse, a 6-year-old, lot of talent. He's 2 for 3 at Emerald Downs, and it'll be great to see him again. And that was impressive. So, we had a couple stakes on Sunday here at Emerald Downs. The Washington Cup continued with the juvenile races. We'll come back with those in a moment here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
I don't cash a lot of tickets.
It was halfway to
You
St.
don't
Patrick's
bet
Day.
that much,
I don't
do you?
bet that much, no. I like that 1-2-3 bet though. You got me hooked on that, Joe.
1, 2, 3.
I like that bet, the
haven't
1-2-3
cashed in a
racing
while.
wager.
I cashed since mid-season.
I played it. I got a refund on Friday.
Thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly. And a key decision to start racing last Saturday at 4:25. That worked out pretty well for those of you that didn't bring an umbrella to the track last week. All right, let's continue on Sunday. We saw that the track was pretty darn wet, and Phil, our streak of fast tracks to start the day ended this past Sunday.
It did, but the track was upgraded to wet fast. But
He's
halfway through the
okay,
card.
Phil. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Keeps the streak alive.
The dirt was wet. All right, let's go to the first of the 2 Washington Cup races. The juveniles were in action
Before that,
on Saturday. Oh, we had some festivities
right,
going on.
we had some Sunday activities. We had the Clan Gordon Pipe Band from Tacoma come out and play in the winter circle a couple times. And we figured beer fest, little bagpipes, and one of the owners of the band says, we're going to celebrate 6 months away from St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
We're almost 6 months away, so
Yeah, that was a nice touch for, including, as Gary said, the beer fest was going on track level on Sunday. Yeah, good touch. Clan Gordon Pipe Band, Al McEachern, just a tremendous national anthem singer. We love to see Al down there in the winter circle performing, as he does several times a year. So now to the races on Washington Cup Sunday, the stakes races. The first one was the Philly Stake at 6.5 furlong, presented by Pegasus. Let's watch and listen to Tom Harris.
And runners away in the Washington Cup Juvenile Filly Stakes. On the far outside, Love Flies on Wings came away quickly. From between horses, Windy Point is their known value. Out of the chute onto the main oval they go. Miss Prospector is in line up front as well. There's 2. Back to For You Only, just back of the wall of leaders. Then comes You Go Girl, moving up at the rail, span of 3 to Pinch a Lynch, Salty Little Lass, third last, Smashing Success follows, and Discreet Demons, and they're strung out a dozen front to back, just over 3/8 of a mile away. 21 and 4, a sizzling quarter here, and Windy Point has the rail and the lead. Miss Prospector is right there to shadow the leader. You Go Girl, a patient third by 3. Known Value backs off at the rail. Pinch a Lynch kicks on from the outside, quarter mile away. They run to the top of the stretch, and Windy Point kicks off the turn in front by a length and a half. Miss Prospector is chasing from the outside. You Go Girl sent down for the drive. 200 yards to the finish. Windy Point digs in on the outside. You Go Girl trying to close the margin, but 70 yards for home. It's Windy Point and Juan Gutierrez to win the Juvenile Filly Stakes.
The top rider in Washington Cup history started back in '03 here at Emerald Downs. Juan Gutierrez aboard another one. Windy Point, the favorite for Clemens' View of Jean Penny Harris. And also the other owner in there was Michelle Bonneau. Jose Navarro, the winning trainer. Favorites ran 1-2 in there. Both the first 2 finishers by Coast Guard as he continues to up his stock here in the Northwest, the sire.
Yeah, a lot of favorites tend to win Washington Cup races.
3 out of 4 so far.
Not all the time, though.
No, not all the time. So congratulations, Windy Point, now with a career record of 4 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third, and a stakes winner. Windy Point over You Go Girl. Steve Bullock, trainee with Kevin Krieger, second, and a long shot, a daughter of Demon Warlock, Discreet Demons at 70-1 came in third. So Demon Warlock continues to keep his name out there, the sire of A Little Less Talk. 8th race, that was the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Washington Cup stake, another field of 10. Very good interest in the Washington Cup once again. This at 6.5 furlongs. Here's the race.
And runners away. Good start for Harbor's Rule. Came flying from the outside off the mark. Stanley's Wave from between horses. Code Charlie is right there, prompted on. 1 from the outside. Wilson to Lockett's in the early search as well. 40 Smooches from between horses. Down at the inside, Gold Crusher, Love the Vino. 5 off the beat. Up to the outside comes Rigsky on the go. 5 off the rail, Wicked winning second last. Gap of 5, back to Unmatchable as they race on for the far turn. 3/8 of a mile to go. Code Charlie shows the way by 2. Gold Crusher is chasing second by the same. Harbor's Rule on the outside third. Moving through at the inside comes 40 Smooches racing next. Wicked winning circles to the outside. Rigsky back to that. Love the Vino. And they come off the turn and run for home. Code Charlie at the inside digs in. Gold Crusher is right there on the attack. Final furlong to go. Gold Crusher takes the lead. 40 Smooches battling on. Grandstand side. Unmatchable is flying in the final stages. And Unmatchable and Alex Anaya storm to the front and win the Juvenile.
How about this? Big talent for a first-time starter. Unmatchable. Alex Anaya up for trainer Jack McCartney. Unmatchable pulls away from Love the Vino, and 40 Smooches was third in the Washington Cup Juvenile presented by Elysian. That was a first-time starter in a stake, and he came from dead last.
Yeah, almost 15 to 18 lengths behind, and
Impressive.
It's so cool, Phil, to see Alex Anaya, who's been here both this year and last year, get his first ever stakes victory.
Yeah, and seeing you interviewing both Alex and Jack McCartney,
Yep.
that's not your normal trainer-jockey tandem after a stakes race getting interviewed, so congratulations to them both. Very nice guys, and that might have been one of the more impressive performances of any race this year, and great job by Alex Anaya to keep that horse. That horse was going in, ducking out, ducking in, and
moving fast,
Yeah.
running greenly, as you mentioned. Alex Anaya won with 2 firsters. We saw earlier he won with Race Home in a maiden race. And Jack McCartney, his first Emerald Downs Stakes win as well. So
Jeez.
a great day for those two. And he was 13-1 in the wagering, unmatchable. First time starter in a stake. We're going to have more information on that later. He wasn't the first in Emerald Downs history, but it is pretty darn rare. So there is the Washington Cup. Again, 2 races remaining, the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic and the Washington Cup Filly and Mare Distance Race coming up on Sunday. And also on Sunday, the last day of the Washington Cup, is kind of worked out to be Washington Hall of Fame ceremony Sunday as well. And you've done quite a bit of research for this year, Phil.
Part of it was the lifetime achievement going to Aaron T. Van Devanter, and the whole story, Time for It Now, goes back to a racetrack in Washington called the Meadows, which was in the Georgetown region, and people used to pile into streetcars. I think we have a picture of that. That guy up top, it looks like
sunglasses.
Maybe a relative of Gary that could have been going to the track that day.
Probably.
Look at that.
Your family goes back in this area, doesn't it?
It's the only guy not wearing a hat.
The San Juans.
Got his sunglasses on. Anyway.
Yeah, hats were.
A great history, though, all kidding aside. And we'll be telling the rest of the story when we do the presentations on Sunday.
Yeah. Aaron
There's some history
T.
there.
Van Devanter, a big man in Kent. Really big. Well, all of Western Washington.
First mayor of Kent.
Yep.
He was King County Sheriff. He was a state senator, one of the leading Republicans in the state, and he headed up the King County Fair Association, who was a private entity back then that built and operated the Meadows racetrack.
Yeah. Built a hotel in Seattle, had business interests, ran a big farm in Kent as well.
Owned trained horses and actually had a house on the grounds of the racetrack. And
Was he a bookie?
I don't think so.
Sell
no,
liquor?
No.
No booze?
Maybe the liquor. I don't know about that.
There's still a Van Devanter Street up
There
on
is.
That's what I
Scenic
heard.
Hill in Kent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and Terry and Mary Lou Griffin, the breeders this year for the Hall of Fame. What a career they've had. Neighbors of the Pabst's Blue Ribbon Farm in Buckley. And boy, there's been some fantastic production from the Buckley area since the mid-1970s. Snowplow, the first Washington-bred Grade 1 winning horse into the Hall of Fame. And Ruth Parton, there's another tremendous story. She's a native Washingtonian who was in horses and racing for decades. And
Decades on decades from Toppenish, correct?
Yeah,
Methodist
and
Washington.
grew up on the Yakima Reservation and was at least some part tribal, Yakima tribal, and also one of the best, if not the best, female relay racer of all time before she started training thoroughbreds.
There's
Great stories here to be told.
Yes.
So those ceremonies and recognitions will be done on Sunday here at Emerald Downs, along with the final day of the Washington Cup. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and preview those Washington Cup races. They're this Sunday. Don't miss them. Emerald Downs, first race, 2 p.m.
Rain or shine.
We'll be here. What happened to Charlie the bartender? Does he
I
watch?
almost called him one night, and then I forgot.
Well, if we brought back the trivia question, I'm sure he'd
chime
emailing in.
we took up our ratings about 25%.
Exactly.
Charlie.
Emerald Downs Weekly continues. Washington Cup coming up on Sunday, the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic and the Filly and Mare Mile and a 16th race as well. I think we're going to have a really good Muckleshoot Tribal Classic this year, fellas.
That would be good.
Yeah, it would be.
Track condition will be.
We hope it'll be good. A little rain maybe in the forecast, but since we went to these 3 weekends, it's actually enabled the 3-year-olds that win week 1 of Washington Cup to come back in 2 weeks and run again in the Classic in both divisions, actually. So,
and we've got a
makes it
chance for the
interesting.
first two-time Washington Cup winner in 1 year
I know.
in this Muckleshoot Tribal Classic. One of the top names is going to be Hit the Beach. He won the race last year. He won it in 2018. He was on a roll at the end of the season. And this victory here, September 9th last year, this helped him toward Washington champion older horse for 2018. Pat Mullins runner, Ed Zenker, and Swede Larson. And there's Jose Zanino aboard. Wow. Paid 8-1. Then he won later on closing day. Won the Pete Peterson as well.
Well,
quite a year for Hit the Beach. So he's going to be one of the favorites. He's sharp again. And another horse, 8-year-old that's going to be in there, Grinder Sparks Aglow. this was a great win by him. How sharp has this 8-year-old been? He's Washington bred by Grindstone, who of course won the Kentucky Derby. And yeah, if you recognize those silks in that horse, that's Hit the Beach coming on the outside. This was a tough one to predict. The press on the rail.
Boy, that's a tough beat.
Yeah, well, the horse in the middle there. Grinder Sparks Aglow held on by a nose. And Robbie Bays is the trainer. And Richard Santa, the owner, so proud of that horse. He has been a great horse. I think that's 8 Emerald Downs wins now and 7 at Portland Meadows for Grinder Sparks Aglow. Just beat Hit the Beach. Macaw Lane is the 3-year-old we're talking about. Macaw Lane, here he is winning the Washington Cup 3-year-old race on September 1st over Derby winner My Grandpa. This is a Bonnie Jenny trainee, and if he wins the Muckleshoot Tribal Classics, that'll be 2 Washington Cup wins from him in the same year.
In the same year.
Yeah.
The key, you have to get loose on the lead like that last race there. There might be a little more speed signed up for this race, but it makes things interesting.
Yeah, he's an improving 3-year-old. Juan Gutierrez aboard there on Macaw Lane, who's named after Mr. Macaw and Colony Lane, who were full brothers back in the early 2000s. They both won the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic and Washington Championship back then. So this name is working out nicely on Macaw Lane.
Makes sense now. Got it.
Yeah, last year, who was it? Don't Kiss and Tell had a win and a second in the Washington Cup. She won her 3-year-old filly division. Mike Man's Gold is a nominee. He's run in 6 Washington Cups. Here he is. That's 5 years ago, guys. He's winning the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic, of which he has run in, 5 times?
Yep, something like that.
This would be his 6th, and it'd be his 7th Washington Cup, which would tie Wasserman for appearances in the Washington Cup. That's Javier Matias aboard there.
Yeah, he was supposed to run last weekend, got scratched out of an allowance race, and I know John Lindley and you were talking about it between races, probably to enter this race.
I would think so. Last chance for him. Actually, there's the race on closing day as well. But Mike Man's Gold, of course, moved to the top of the Emerald Downs class with his 22nd victory just a few weeks ago, passing West Seattle Boy as the track's all-time leading winner. And again, it would be his 7th Washington Cup. Wow, he has kept high quality for a lot of years. And how about Sippin' Fire? His name hasn't been mentioned much this year, but he is a 2-time Washington Cup winner. He won the Cup as a 2-year-old, and here he is last year pulling away for his 4th consecutive stakes win in the summer of 18. Washington Horse of the Year last year, Steve Bullock trainee. He's been training up to this race. I called Steve today, and he said, yeah, things are looking good. He's training great. We're going to go in the Cup, and he's only been out twice this year.
Part owner Joe Withy, full disclosure. You guys, you're in that winner's circle somewhere.
Should be.
But I know you were a little disappointed you didn't get him to the races earlier, but there's you get him now, and he's still a chance to win a stakes race.
Yeah, little bit of a foot issue there for a while, couldn't train, but Sippin' Fire would be a great addition to the Washington Cup. So looking forward to that on Sunday. And also the filly and mare race at 1 1/16. No Talking Back has emerged as the top filly or mare recently, winning the Boeing and the Emerald Distaff. And here she is coming down the stretch in the Distaff on Mile Day, and she beat Bella Mia. And Bella Mia, to me, it's hard to figure. She is so fast and so tough, yet she hasn't won a race this year. She's been stakes placed on a couple of occasions. And she hasn't won a route race either. So, anyway,
I know there are some
Bella
horses
Mia in my mind, here,
I know.
as you can tell.
You should have Sippin' Fire on your mind.
I do.
That classic. If all those horses that you just talked about all go in that race, that's going to be one of the better fields that we've had all year, including. The mile was a great race, but this has the potential to be a great field and good betting race, very competitive. No Talking Back won the Washington Cup. Did she win that race last year? Oh, you're looking at another.
Yeah, I'm hoping Under Par comes in from Canada on the filly mare race. She's 9 for 13 lifetime. She's never been around 2 turns, so she'd add much intrigue. When she ran here once before, she went 6 furlongs and 108 and 3 with Kevin Orozco. So she's riding a 1, 2, 3, 4 race win streak, and she's BC bred, and that's the new rules, right?
Yeah,
Phil?
BC breds. It's been around for a few years. Yeah. BC breds can
What month was that?
run.
She ran here in June.
Yep.
She was in a race by herself that day. I mean, she just absolutely blitzed. What'd she win by?
She won that race by 8.5 lengths and paid $6.20.
Yeah. Under par
Yes.
is one fast horse. Can she go a mile and a 16th? As Gary mentioned, she hasn't gone past 6.5 furlongs yet in her career. But she would be a dynamic addition to the Washington Cup as well. So looking forward to that. Washington Cup on Sunday here at Emerald Downs. We'll take a short break. Stay with us. More to come. Hey, about Stat versus Stat coming up on Emerald Downs Weekly. And Gary is looking to get off the asterisk from last week.
He lost last week.
No, how can I lose in a walkover?
You were the only participant, and you still got your stat wrong.
How did you actually verbalize that?
No,
what did you say? Did you say he lost?
Yes.
I said, what jockeys have won 6 races in Emerald Downs? It was Labor Day show. I said Kevin Racky won 6, and so did Seth Martinez. Vince goes, well, Gary, last year Couton won 6.
Emerald Downs Weekly continues, and Frank Lucarelli, just what a dream season. Again, his 6th training title here at Emerald Downs, so he's had some big days. But this year, all those Friday nights when he won 3 or 4 races and so many multiple win days. But one of his owners, Chad Christensen, is on the verge of a record as well. Look at that. Swag Stables of Keith and Jan Swaggerty, 2009, won 27 races here. That's been the standard, again, for 10 years. Chad is right behind, just 1 win behind the top single-season total for an owner. Westridge Ranch of Larry and Veroline Hillis. John Parker, 3-time defending leading owner. Ron Crockett, our all-time leading owner, has won 21 races twice. And Howard Belvoir. So there's the list. And Chad Christensen in the first race on Friday. Big chance for him to set a new record as well. Another feather in Frank Lucarelli's cap, you'd say.
Yeah, the John Parker streak looks like it's going to be over.
Yeah, John, just a fantastic supporter of everything at Emerald Downs, and Chad Christensen also just jumping right in. So something to keep an eye on there in the owners' standings. And time for Stat versus Stat. Gary, how about you? I heard last week, I wasn't here, but Gary lost and he was unopposed.
It was a walkover, and I was.
How could that happen?
Because he got his stat wrong.
He got a stat.
One minor
thing. He lost unopposed. Okay,
unopposed,
well,
still
maybe
lost.
You'll make a
We're
comeback.
back again this year. This past weekend was the running of the British Columbia Derby up at Hastings, and we had one heck of a finish here. Glenn Todds and Mario Gutierrez riding 5-star General gets the bob here to win the BC Derby $250,000 race by a nose. And he's not the first 5-star General to win this stakes race. Back in 1978, a horse by the name of 5-star General won the BC Derby. Obviously different connections. Longtime owners, the Jaw brothers. This horse also ran at Longacres. But there's been 5 horses named 5-star General through Ecobase, and 2 of them have won this race. Very unique, Phil, right? 1978 and 2019. A horse by the name of 5-star General won the BC Derby.
I got to be honest with you, that's going to be tough to beat.
That's unique. I remember 5-star
You
General.
probably did.
Saw him run at Longacre several times. So, okay. Well, let's see what I can do here off a week layoff.
Yeah.
Let's go to some video here from 1997 at Emerald Downs. This is Len Kazmersky trainee, Knights Caffer. She's coming down the stretch in the Washington Stallion Stakes, and she's going to win it. That's her first career start. So she was the first horse to win a career debut in a stakes race at Emerald Downs. Of course, we had that done last Sunday by Unmatchable. Lady Ledoux won the Northwest Stallion Stakes in 08. She only lost once at this track. She won that race by 8 lengths. Bonnie Jenny trainee. And Karula, owned by Jack and Teresa Hodge, trained by David Martinez. She won the NGC by 11, so they knew what they were doing, putting horses in a stake race for the first time. Those 3, and then finally a colt wins a 2-year-old race as a first-time starter, a 2-year-old stakes race. Unmatchable this weekend. Took the Washington Cup Juvenile. So 4 times that's been done at Emerald Downs. First time starter in a stakes race, started by Knights Caffer. And Phil, Gary already went. You didn't even.
Well,
you didn't even watch mine very close.
I have one question for him, though.
Okay.
This one?
Did you come up with that, or were you just reading the Hastings press release after the race?
No, I was doing some research of all the BC Derbies and ran into the 5-star general in the 70s, and I sent it on Twitter, and Drew Forster and Glenn Todd both retweeted and says that's pretty cool.
I will give him that. That's a great stat.
Okay.
I can't imagine that would have happened too often in history anywhere, because we know horses, the names are in a database that get reused after a certain amount of time.
About
unless
10
there's
years.
certainly,
If I give you one
can't have another secretariat.
piece of data here, could I win?
Maybe.
Okay, so far, the filly of Bob Meekings, the
Yeah.
New York bred, that was the name of an outstanding sprinter at Long Acres who won multiple sprint stakes. So same spelling, O.K. so far forwards. Anyway. Okay. Hey, I want to show one more first-time starter state history. This horse debuted in the Washington Stallion Stakes of 1985. There she is, Fire Sweeper, the daughter of Drumfire. That's her career debut. What was her record at Long Acres that year? 5 for 5 all stakes. How about that? Fire Sweeper and Captain Condo tied all time at Long Acres with 12 stakes victories. She later ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies at Aqueduct that fall.
Owned by Jerry Paxton.
Yeah, Jerry Paxton.
One of his most famous mares. Yeah.
Drumfire.
I'm still stuck on the other thing. So, there's a rule that says, like, you can't have another ruffian or secretariat.
Yeah. Prominent horses.
Very prominent horses.
A lot of prominent sires. I have seen sires' names again.
But how unique
Breeders'
is
Cup
5-star
winners.
general? The same spelling and everything? I have to check on that. But come back.
What do you mean?
You don't have to check on it.
It's
Same
accurate.
race. I
saw him run.
Really?
And I called Glenn Todd. He purchased him. When he purchased him, I thought, did you
Know about
the
Silvers?
connection? He goes, yeah, I remembered that name, but that's not why he purchased him. He bought him in the Midwest and
Pretty amazing.
brought him in here.
Wow.
Winner.
That's a good one. I'll give you
Have I
that
tied
one.
it up, Joe? Have I tied it up?
No.
Yeah, go ahead and
You're
throw
far-
that out.
you're far behind.
You can throw it out.
He's like the Yankees and
you're
the Mariners.
Accommodate. Okay.
Even the Mariners.
We'll take a
win the game.
short break after Gary wins the stat versus stat this week, and be right back on Emerald Downs Weekly.
You don't win when you're the only one.
Yes.
That one wasn't bad.
Emerald Downs Weekly, our final segment. First race on Friday, this coming Friday at 6:30, and we have lights that are working in case somebody's just joining us. We had a little light issue last Friday, but the lights are back, and so will we be at a 6:30 start, and plenty of promotions coming up, starting with a Brewers Night, Friday night.
Yes, Brewers Night. The beer is Reuben's Brewery. They'll be out here by the Winter Circle. First hour, the beers are $2.50. Then we'll spin the wheel and see what the price comes up afterwards. We'll have the mighty Dreadful String Band performing between the races on Friday night, a Fab Friday. Saturday. Oh, Phil, don't we have some special in the gift horse?
Oh, yeah. The very
on.
quickly here.
Yes.
Our Fab Friday shirts from earlier in the year, $1 one.
Wow.
$1
For a T-shirt.
A T-shirt, $1. I think they might only have medium left, but it's $1.
And it could save you $8 on the final Friday as well.
You
That's
can.
true.
Or $9.
You could use this as a curtain for your windows or a
It's a-
rag for $1.
Well, isn't black the most popular color for T-shirts anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so dollar T-shirts,
Yep.
and September Saturdays, we've got some great half-price specials this Saturday and the following, 21st. Look at that, 16-ounce draft beer, half price, hot dogs, corn dogs. There it is.
Very good.
And the Sunday Sports Pick 4, I've seen other tracks copy this. We started this back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And again this season, Gary.
We'll have 2 races Sunday here at Emerald Downs, plus the Sunday night and the Monday night football games. Nobody, I believe, picked all 4 last week, so we'll have $500 up for grabs if you can get all 4 perfectly correct.
Yeah.
That'd be 2 football games and 2 horse races.
Yeah, free to enter. Fill out your
Absolutely.
entry blank and take a shot at the horse races and the football games. And Norb's going to be here.
Yeah, Norb from Norb Camp. Come early on Sunday, 10 a.m. Watch the game here. Stay for the races. If you come for the party with Norb, it's free admission.
Free.
So,
Seahawks at
yeah.
Pittsburgh, big game. Every Seahawk game's a big game, let's face it. All right, thanks for watching Emerald Downs Weekly. Hope to see you at the track this weekend. Lots going on. You are ready now. Thanks for being here. Us too. Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Good to have you back,
Norb.
Joe.
Where's Norb?